All right, here we are again. In the last video, I talked about painting every morning and every night, trying to have a sense of self as opposed to a sense of serving others. We live most of our lives working 9-to-5 jobs. If we're the lucky artists, if we're the very fortunate ones who have been plucked out of obscurity and can paint every day, or have support, family support, whatever support, so that you can paint every day, good on you. But most of us are just exhausted all the time, and working our 9-to-5 or 9-to-9 or 8 a.m. to 7 or 8 a.m. to blah blah jobs, or 2 or 3 jobs. But it is so deathly important that we find our sense of selves and a way to develop our art regardless. I need a cloth. It's very warm out here again. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I said that I would, and I have been. And in painting twice a day, sometimes it's just been putting down one brush stroke, or 2 or 5 in the morning. Maybe just spending 30 seconds that's dedicated to my being, to my core, and producing work, the thing that I believe that I am here for, the thing that helps me to get out of bed and make it through the work day. And I look forward to coming home and working again. So sometimes it's just a couple of brush strokes, a few brush strokes, and then at night some more. I had one day off this week, one day off last week. I've been working 6 days a week, I think for 6 or 8 weeks, I'm not even sure. And so it's been dedicated to producing work. I really put my nose to the grindstone on this one. I put her up on social media the other day saying she is done. And it was an absolute complete cop-out because she was not done. I was busy feeling clever because I had left, and we know how much I hate clever, I had left this cheek open, exposing raw lines, exposing aerosols, which has worked in other paintings, but in this one it wasn't. It felt like a cop-out, and it didn't feel like I was showing reverence to my reference material or enough respect. So I went back in, and I went to one of my favorite painters, and you'll find him on Facebook, Leonard Maiden. I've talked about him before. Leonard Maiden, M-A-I-D-E-N. He's out of Mississippi. He is a phenomenal painter, and we've talked a number of times, but just looking at his work has given me direction. I didn't study much. I mean, I studied art history as a kid, but I didn't know that you were supposed to find a mentor and, build these relationships and learn from other people. I was brought up in a time where if you couldn't do it yourself, you were an utter and complete failure in life, and you don't reach out to people. That's the culture I was brought up in. You try and stand on your own 2 feet, even if you can't find your 2 feet. And if you can't figure it out all by yourself with no training on your own, you're a moron, and you probably shouldn't exist. So that's what I came from. But I really have been studying other people's work more and more, and learning, oh, maybe I should have had a mentor. Maybe I should have been someone's assistant, which wasn't in the realm of thinking of my parents or anyone I grew up with, or in the town I grew up with, or until recently, as a matter of fact. But here we are. I'm 56. It's a little late to be somebody's assistant, and I am living out in, the middle of Florida, and that's not an option. Like for so many people, that's really not an option. So I've been turning to Leonard a lot. And when we spoke a year or 2 ago, he was telling me how he learned how to place color and shadow in his places, and how to accentuate around the nose. He does a lot of African Americans, mainly African American. His work is just extraordinary, and it gets me to my core, like Vanessa German, my favorite sculptor. It just, right in the chest. And the mistake I had made with her was Anglo-Saxoning her. She had a thinner nose. Her nose was appropriate to someone who knows what an Anglo-Saxon nose feels like, an Anglo-Saxon face. She has a much richer face, and it is specific to her. And I had kind of thrown it to the wayside and been like, I can fudge this one. And as we know, can't fudge. So cannot be disrespectful to the reference material, the culture, to the person, to their story. So I turned to Leonard and I redid the face, and I posted about it on Facebook, how disrespectful I was and how arrogantly I said, she is done. She is still not quite done. How long have I been working on this? But I'm going to take her and put her to the side and let her dry a little bit. I have to look at her with fresh eyes. So she's going over here. Here we go. She's gone over to my little drying section of the garage, Birdie. Gone over to the drying section of the garage, and I'm not going to look at her for a while. I did that with King Femme. For weeks I had King Femme up against the wall drying. Turned King Femme around the other day. Went to Staples, had the reference material for King Femme printed up, and reworked the face, the head, the figure a little bit more. What I wasn't seeing on my iPad were the correct angles, and it has bothered me deeply. So once again, up against the wall, not looking at it for a while, turned it around, printed out the reference material, went back in and reconfigured King Femme. Now King Femme is back up against the wall with now the farm girl, the farm worker, and I'm going to give them a little bit more time, turn them around again, and see how we've done. Having different sources for the reference material is extremely helpful, not just working off the iPad and, thinking, oh yes, I've got it. I had to print it out another way. It's always looking at things with fresh eyes. Always trying to look at things with fresh eyes. That said, I'm a little burnt out on King Femme and a little burnt out on my crop worker girl. So we've needed to do something new, start something new. Michaels, who by the way, I love their canvases. I love the gesso they use. Michaels had a great sale over the weekend, 70% off. I couldn't afford it, but I took complete advantage of the sale because I have an event coming up. It's a private event with Michael Saunders, a real estate company, which sounds odd, but one of my friends is a top seller with Michael Saunders and said, hey, can I show your work and would you like to come paint live? So that's what I'm going to be doing. But in the meantime, I've got to get things ready. Not only for Michael Saunders, but for my other galleries. I tend to work large. It's easier for me to see. My eyesight is spotty at times because I have a nerve damage in one eye. So it's kind of hard for me to see. And with the RSD, my sight gets blurry too. But anyway, I've got to get some smaller things together. And I tend to paint a lot of transgender people, drag queens, people that are more fringy, which makes me super happy, makes me excited to paint. But it's not always marketable. And although I'm against painting, performing for the audience, I know that I need to branch out a little bit more again. So I think I'm going to be doing this one thing that I really enjoy, and that's doing abstracts. I haven't done an actual abstract. I do abstract realism. I haven't done an actual abstract in a while. So I've been prepping my little Michaels canvases for not only that, because I can't do just abstracts. I can't do just figurative work. I have to have a multitude of ideas and genres going at once. I have to have several going at once or my head doesn't work well. All right, this is going to sound nutty, but one of the things I love painting, I've actually only done it once, and I've been compiling reference material for another series that I enjoy, or another series of ideas that I really enjoy painting. I love old photographs, late 1800s, more early 1900s, where people were figuring out how to use and pose for the camera. I did a painting a few years ago, and it's with Chasen Galleries. It's called Dada's Boy, and it's about Dadaism, and also about this boy on a rocking horse, which for some reason delights me to no end. And I've been compiling this reference material of boys who are in outfits we would now consider feminine, and just how odd it is. I love the oddity of it. I love that these children are sitting so seriously on a hobby horse, and these boys are dressed in feminine clothing, and then at some point in time they are expected to switch over and be a man's man. Like the complexity of the idea of them growing up and evolving just delights me to no end. And so, although right now I have 5 canvases, and I said I'm probably going to do 3 abstracts, this being one. I have another canvas that's ready to go. I think I'm going to do a couple of these. This child looks so happy to be alive. I have these fantastic images I've been pulling off the web. That's not one of them. These maudlin children, maudlin boys, almost dressed as dandies. This poor kid, God knows what was running through his head. This one kills me. I love the outfit. I love the whole, just the whole idea. Some of them are so ridiculous, they make me laugh. So I've been wanting to do a series of these guys, boys on hobby horses, but I also realize the things that I enjoy painting may not reach a larger audience. And again, I don't want to play to the audience, and I don't want to say I need to be true to myself. What I want to say is I need to be passionate about what I'm painting. So I'm prepping my canvases to paint ideas and images and complex theories, or some things about things I'm passionate about, and that will hopefully sell. Now for the abstract paintings, I have to have, when I'm doing an abstract painting, I have to hold an idea in mind. I have to hold a direction, a tenet of sorts, an intention. And the abstracts won't be just pretty colors thrown on the canvas. I've been reading and trying to understand Durga, the Hindi goddess, Durga, who defeats evil spirits, and does some other stuff, and I can't remember right now, but I'm told, because I'm thinking about this, but I am enamored by the stories we tell ourselves to make our lives more livable, and how they help us to focus, how they help humanity to focus. The stories of Durga are extremely complex, and I'm not even going to pretend I understand them all or can remember them. But Durga is one personality, I think. I think she's supposed to be one personality who is Ganesha's mother. She has two, there goes my brush. Oh, God. Ganesha's mother has two sides to her. One is angry and powerful and ugly and drives fear into men. And the other is a dichotomy. She's beautiful and kind and giving and fights for the greater good. But they are both, as I understand it, goddesses of war, and they strive to defeat evil. Evil and difficulty and starvation and stuff. So anyway, I will be reading more and more about Durga. Hopefully I'll become more articulate about her. But I love the power that she embodies in the Hindi faith. Every year there are large celebrations held around Durga. There's one major one. And at the end, at the end of the celebration, and again, I can't remember the name of it, I only have, surface level reading done on this and research. At the end of the celebration, they take Durga, the month-long celebration, I think it is. They take the Durga goddesses' statues, the statues they've been celebrating around, and set her out to sea. So she goes. She never dies, but she is sent away to sea, I think to die, but then she is reborn. She comes back the following year and graces everyone who worships her with hopefully success, with power, with energy to defeat their own evil. Again, I have no idea. I'm doing my best here. I've only been reading about her for a little while, and she's so deeply complex, like all Hindi gods and the Hindi religion. But that's what I'm going to put into the abstracts. And right now, I've done my few brush strokes for the morning. So I have given a gift to myself. I've invested in me, and now it's time to go out to get ready for work rather, and just spend my entire day being successful, trying to be successful at my job, looking forward to coming home at probably 9:30 tonight, walk my dog, feed the dog and cat, feed myself, and then come out here and paint some more. I hope you're sticking to the plan and that you're able to do this as well, so we can work on things together. But yeah, Durga. I do know more than is coming out of my mouth. It's just kind of stuck in there. But I've got to go get dressed and focus. All right, ciao.